welcome to the Crochet Show with your host Nikki. Today we're going to crochet a faux fur scarf. I'm going to tell you about the materials that you're going to need for this faux fur yarn. So I have here some Fable Fur yarn from We Crochet. It is super bulky weight, and I actually have a lot of different colors, which you can see right here. So any you wish to use is fine. You will likely need 2 or 3 skeins depending on how long you're going to make it. You can make this into a cowl, you can make it into an infinity scarf, you can make it to a normal scarf or a scarf with pockets. So you can even make it into a shawl or wrap if you wish to. Totally fine. So I'm going to focus on a scarf, and you can even make it really long or short. You know, there's so many different ways. But I'm going to use Fable Fur yarn in the color Cuma, and it has 71 yards per 100 grams. So, and then I'm also going to use a M hook, which is an 8mm hook. Right here, so M hook 8 millimeters. So that's what I'm going to use for this, and this was not intentional that they happen to match, but it works. So working on that, and then I'm going to show you from the beginning on how to crochet the first couple of rows, and then I'm going to show you how it kind of looks like once you go further along. You can make it as long as you like. So let's get started, okay? So the very first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna grab your yarn, and you're going to take your beautiful label off, and you're gonna touch your gorgeous yarn because it's so soft, and you just have to feel it. So the very first thing you wanna remember for this specific yarn is that, first of all, it has this tape here in the kind of in the back. Let me call it the back because, you know, everyone kind of sees the faux fur here as the front, the really obvious part of it, right? But there is kind of a strip here behind it which holds the entire thing together. And that is kind of the thing that you can feel when you are working with the yarn. So the very first thing you want to do is you make pretty much a slip knot, very gentle, don't overdo it, because one of the things you want to remember, there's a couple things you want to remember. One, it's very hard to pull this back out in case you made a mistake. So, you know, frogging it is going to be a hard one. But the other thing you want to remember is that you're not going to be able to really see your stitches. So there's 2 things. Frogging is hard and finding your stitches is hard, but you can feel them, okay? So once I have here my slip knot, I'm simply going to make my chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I think I'm gonna do 10, 11. So I have 10 chains per row, okay? So this is how it looks like so far. Okay, so you can kind of feel the texture. Now you might not be able to see it very well, but you can for sure feel it. So hopefully you'll have some yarn around, or maybe get some. There's a link in the description so you can find the pattern as well as the yarn if you want to. Okay, so once you do so, you're going to find your very first chain, because we're always going to skip that one, right? And then you hop into the next one. And no worries about whether you're going to go in the front, in the back bump. It really doesn't matter in this case. You're not going to be able to see it anyways. So I'm just going to stick with single crochet because that is very much the easiest thing you can do for this. So all you have to do is feel your stitches. Sometimes you can even put your finger in there, as you just saw me do it. So literally you can put your finger in it, right? And just go through it one by one. Okay, so all you have to do is find your stitch and then insert your hook and make your single crochet. So that's the fun part of it. Now you want to make sure that you're not skipping stitches because it may look off later, right? So that's the hardest part of it. Again, seeing the stitches. And then obviously if you are going to change hooks by accident, or you're skipping a stitch, then you're going to have it a little bit wonky in the end. So make sure you keep counting your stitches, which you can do per row, right? So you're simply going to count it as you're making your stitches. So here I'm just going to do, and by the way, I don't chain one, so it's a smooth edge here on the side. So 1, I'm going to count with you here right now. 2, let's see if I did it right. 3, 4, I'm going to do one more row here together. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and one more. Yes, I got my 10 stitches still, so I'm very excited about that. So it's 10 stitches per row. Now what you're going to do is you're going to do it over and over and over again, right? So, and the cool thing is, look at how it looks like. It is like so cuddly. And I actually started working on a scarf already for you guys, so you can see how this is going to look like at the very end. So you can see it is just continuing, right? And you can make it as long as you like, right? Super, super snuggly. And in fact, what you can even do, and that's what I'm going to do, is you're going to take, once you make it really long as you like, you can take the end of it, roll it over like this, or fold it over as long as you like. So I'm probably going to make it roughly the size of my hand, so about this, right? So, and then I'm going to sew here the sides together, and that way I have a pocket. Or you can use it as, you know, mittens. It doesn't really have a thumb, but it doesn't really matter, right? As long as they keep warm. So if you make the scarf long enough and then you just fold the last part over it, then you have pockets on the scarf, which is really fun. You can really do that with any scarf, but this, oh my God, can you imagine doing that in winter time? It is so cute and so soft. Okay, so that is pretty much how this looks like. There we go. It is that easy. It is that easy. Just keep in mind on those couple of things is that you want to make sure that you always have your stitches, right? That means per row. Count them as you do them, or count them after the fact by just touching them, right? Then it's going to be hard to frog it. You may lose some faux fur. So keep that in mind, but otherwise this is a really awesome yarn to use, and there's many different faux fur yarns out there. I love this one because it has a lot of different colors, but Lion Brand also has one, so you can try that one out as well. And I used a 5mm hook, as I said. So that is really it. It is a quick pattern, straightforward. All you got to do is making sure that you try not to frog. Oh, by the way, another important thing is these rip very easily. I mean, you know, they are kind of sturdy, right? But they're not as sturdy as normal yarn. So keep in mind, when you pull too hard, it's going to rip. So if I'm going to pull, it rips, right? And the way it rips is that little band in the back, all right? So you cannot pull too hard, right? It is much sturdier than some other faux fur yarns. I gotta be honest with you on that one. It is a little bit sturdier on that, but you can still rip it easily, and you just saw that. So keep that in mind. You can easily rip it. Now, which also means because of the frogging, if you have to, it can get tangled and you make easily a knot in there. So in that case, it's easy to just snip it and move on. So don't mess with the frogging part of it. I hope to see you guys the next time for another crochet show with your host, Nikki. Until then, I'll see ya. Bye.